Hi everyone, welcome back to Watch This Dubble. As always, it is I, Double, your omnipresent narrator. I am your certified yapper, your resident hyperfixation homie, and I'm the person that's gonna do what she does best. And let's take you guys on yet another journey today. If you haven't checked out the last episode I posted, please do. That episode was my first recording in over a year. And in that episode, I give you guys everything you need to know about all the amazing and cool things I have planned and upcoming for Watch This Dubble. And for those of y'all that like it, I do talk about a lot of gay shit. So some extra perks in there for y'all. I realize I haven't checked in on y'all yet. I hope that everyone out there listening in the world is doing well. Hope you all are staying safe, informed, and as positive as you can be, considering all the circumstances that are going on. I mean, the world is rough right now. And most of us, we don't make it through unscathed, and that's a sobering fact. But I have faith in everyone that's listening. I know we all have that courage and that bravery needed to make it through this life. I'm confident that you all have that ingrained in your DNA, and that courage appears whenever you need it to, okay? So in the previous episode, I was talking about expanding topics and being genuine with WTD, and there were several ways I thought about achieving that, and ways to avoid being gimmicky, because gimmicky stuff could appear if I don't have authenticity in this space. And what I came up with was the best way to do that is just to be vulnerable and open with you all. Now, just because something is deemed to be the best way to do something, it doesn't necessarily make it the easiest to do. Like, for example, this being a rewatch podcast, it can be difficult to inject genuineness into it. And I say that because the subject that I'm usually speaking on is concrete. Like, I didn't create the characters or the storylines or the settings or whatever. So I am limited there with that. And secondly, it's just scary in general. It's scary in general to be an open book to a bunch of people who I don't know, you know? And I had thought previously that I was a bit of an open book in the first season of WTD, but going back and re-listening, I realized I could have been a little bit more transparent, and I could have let you all in a little bit more. So with all that being said, we're going to get into why we're here today. I want to introduce a new segment or episode or whatever type of idea. I haven't decided what this is yet, or what it's named yet. I'll say that I know what it is. I want to give you guys an insight into me and the characters that really resonate with me. Like, I want you to know why these characters, like, am I choosing this as a favorite because they represent something like a desire or insecurity or something else? So yeah, basically this is just a version of what does my favorite character say about me. I feel like it'll get you guys closer to your omnipresent host. I want you to understand my mind and why I like what I like and talk how I talk about these shows and these characters. And I think it's probably the easiest way for me to let you guys in without basically outing my identity. So yeah, that's a part of it too. And like I said earlier, it's letting people in, regardless of the situation. It can be scary. Peeling back a layer of yourself to be vulnerable and seen, that requires courage and bravery. So yeah, today's episode, or whatever this is going to be titled, what does Double's favorite character say about her? We're going to workshop that, definitely. And And I thought that since I'm being courageous and embracing changes in my world, in the world, and on Watch This Double, why not make this first episode about one character that I feel embodies bravery above all? And that's Spencer Carlin of South of Nowhere fame. So those y'all that know South of Nowhere, y'all are in for a treat. And those that don't, you're definitely in for a treat too. So yeah, let's figure out why Spencer and her story affects me so much. Let's get into it. And before I even touch on it, I didn't mention this in the previous episode, but please be mindful of spoilers. I'll be discussing themes of homophobia, death, other various forms of loss. So please be mindful when you're listening today, guys. Okay? Okay. When I was doing research for the previous episode, I was debating about adding Spencer and her relationship to that list, but as you clearly see or hear, I decided against it. At first, I chose not to put her on there because I thought that her relationship needed its own episode. And then once I started planning out that solo relationship episode, I remembered why I enjoyed the character of Spencer Carlin so much. Girlie stood 10 toes down in her fearlessness to live life. So I immediately scrapped that solo relationship idea. I had thought of this segment and I knew that Spencer Carlin, that character, had to be the first one I discussed right here, you know? And I bet you all are wondering, why does she get to be the first one in this segment? And I'll tell you why. There are tons of shows and movies and media that have their characters display their fearlessness in a multitude of ways. And that could be through physicality or manipulation or intelligence or any other type of way. But that's not necessarily true for every character. On the other end of the spectrum, there are those characters that show their bravery in a more emotional way or by leaning into their truth. And that describes Spencer Carlin to a T, okay? With the way the world is going and the changes that I'm going through personally and the changes to WTD, I really feel that Spencer's story is one of comfort and it's an inspiration to me. I want her traits to rub off on me. I want her fearlessness to rub off on me. And I do think this character really, really deserves to shine. And I'm going to give it to her today, okay? For those that don't remember the show South of Nowhere or have never heard of it, I have to give you guys some background on it. I literally can't be a rewatch podcast without giving you the pertinent information, okay? Okay, so boom. South of Nowhere, it ran on the station The N here in the States, roughly from 2005 to 2008. Side note, man, rest in peace to The N. I cannot believe they replaced you with Teen Nick and then they took you off the air. I will never forget you. You were a transformative part of me growing up. But back to South of Nowhere. The show, it focused on the Carlin family, mom Paula, dad Arthur, and their 3 teenage kids. There's Glenn, he's a jock who has a fall from grace. There is Clay, he is the Black adopted son of the family, and he's trying to find his place and his sense of community within that family. And then, of course, there's Spencer. The show tells you that the family moved from slower pace Ohio to Los Angeles, and that's because the mom received a pretty challenging hospital job. We have other characters. Another big character is Ashley Davies. Girlie is the neglected daughter of a rock star and an absentee mother. She's sexually fluid and sexually active. Those are her descriptors. She also is Spencer's love interest throughout most of the show. Let's see. There are other characters. We have Aiden. He's the heartthrob. There's Kyla, who is Ashley's secret sister. Madison, she's a main cheerleader, it girl. She'll do anything for fame. There's Sean, he's Clay's best friend, and then there's Chelsea. She's the resident artist, and she's the girlfriend to the Carlin brothers. Yes, brothers with an S. And all these characters, they really have a major impact on the Carlin kids and the show's overall plot line, storyline. South of Nowhere, the show, it was billed as a teen drama that was supposed to focus on the family and the three Carlin kids. But let's be real. Anyone who's seen the show, they'll tell you that Spencer and her story with Ashley is center stage and probably one of the biggest focal points of the show. Many of the plot lines for this show, it stemmed from things that had to do with those girlies. SON, as the show is called, it covered topics like adoption, peer pressure, infidelity, sexuality, death, a lot of stuff it covered. And with the topics that it managed to cover at the time of its release, I think it's fair to say that the show was really before its time. It was a true pioneer in young adult television, in my opinion, and in the opinion of those that matter. South of Nowhere, the show did not shy away from any topic. It really managed to show the messy parts of life in a realistic way, or as realistic as you could get in the mid 2000s. And I really appreciated the quality about that show. Like, I really appreciated that it tried to stay realistic in all aspects. The show, it wrapped up after its third season, and there was a small attempt to bring it back a couple of years after the show ended. Unfortunately, that did not go any further than a couple of YouTube videos, which are still out there. So I definitely encourage you guys to go check that out. Let me see. Any other pertinent information about the show? Not that I can think of. All right. Background is done. Let's keep pushing forward, eh? To explain Spencer's impact on me, you have to know what she went through. Girlie got to LA and life did a 180 for her. Prior to her arriving in Los Angeles, I would say that Spencer is, or was, just a run-of-the-mill regular girl. She was a cheerleader, she was popular, she mentioned she had boyfriends, she was religious, and she was really close with her family, especially her mom, Paula. So she gets to LA, she meets Ashley, and they become fast friends, really good friends. But anyone with any sense of gaydar knew that there was something deeply brewing under the surface between those girls. Like, you just knew something was going on with them. So their relationship, it continues on, or their friendship continues on. And Aiden, who's the heartthrob and also Ashley's ex, Messy, begins to pursue Spencer. Spencer, she tries to date Aiden, but her heart is stuck on Ashley for some reason. And Spencer doesn't really understand why or how that could even happen. I mean, at this point, Spencer has always been straight, or so she thought. So that confusion and that buildup of internal tension for Spencer, it leads to a beach hooky day for her and Ashley. And this day, while very dramatic, it was also the day that Spencer came out as gay to Ashley. Give her claps, y'all. And this is one of the main reasons as to why I ride so hard for the character of Spencer Carlin. And no, it's not because she's gay and not because she came out. And yes, that is important and impactful, and probably was the first time that I witnessed someone coming out on TV besides maybe Marco and Paige from Degrassi. But the reason why that moment was so important to me is because Spencer was open to having her worldview change. Open in bold. She met Ashley, who who had lived a million more lives than Spencer did at that point in time. And she allowed Ashley's influence to not be something that she judges, but something that she observed and thought about how that could mesh with her life. And by influence, I guess I mean more so of Ashley just being Ashley. Ashley lived free. And Spencer thought that that freedom could be something that could mesh well within her own life. I hope that makes sense. Like, I guess what I mean is that Ashley didn't change Spencer, or that Spencer just all of a sudden lost all her belief or values. Ashley just gave her a different perspective. She showed her that a lifestyle, that freedom could mean or be something different for Spencer, you know? And I'm going to say the word brave 1,000,001 times today, and I apologize in advance. But for Spencer to question her sexuality, for her to begin to admit it, and for her to push beyond what she knew, that's incredibly brave. Outside of Spencer's ability to push past her previous boundaries or understanding of things, Spencer resonates so deeply with me because the girl is just nice. She is flat out kind. Kind. She showed kindness and compassion even when those closest to her hurt her, even to people that didn't deserve it. Like, let's take her and Madison. As I said earlier, Madison was the high school it girl, cheerleading captain. She dated Glenn, that's Spencer's brother, and Aiden. So she was sort of in Spencer's friend group, but not really. Mainly because Madison had a complicated history with Ashley. And Madison definitely let her opinion on Ashley affect how she interacted with Spencer throughout the majority of the show. Madison just wasn't a nice girl. Mean, I don't even think mean would describe her. I don't even think mean would cut it, because Madison said some really homophobic shit to Ashley and Spencer, and she did it pretty regularly. And Ashley would take those moments and she would fight fire with fire when it came to Madison. But Spencer, she didn't do that. She really took the high road. Now, I'll say this, like, Spencer didn't let Madison words just roll off her back, but she also didn't choose to get back at Madison per se. She didn't retaliate or anything. Most of the time when Madison did what she did or said what she said, Spencer would respond by walking away or choosing kindness or choosing kind words. I mean, hell, the girl even helps Madison out later on in the show achieve her dream of becoming famous. Spencer was literal stepping stone for Madison getting what she wanted. Now, I'll give Madison a little credit, the tiniest, like a morsel of credit, because she does end up apologizing to both Ashley and Spencer for all those hurtful words. So like I said, she'll get the littlest bit of credit. And there are many more examples of Spencer's kind-heartedness and empathy. Like, let's take her brother Glenn. Glenn was a dick. He was homophobic. He hated on her and Ashley. And instead of Spencer, again, retaliating or being hurtful back, she knew that her brother was going through something. At that time, Glenn was on pills and he had lost his ability to play basketball. So he was struggling and he took it out on his sister. There are other instances. There's this girl, Carmen, who Spencer dates for a little while. And Carmen physically abuses Spencer. And again, instead of retaliation, Spencer asked her dad to help get Carmen into a safe space since Carmen was homeless. How are you homeless and trying to beat on someone? I don't know, but you know, that's how it goes. And then there's other cases. I'm thinking about her and her mom, but I really we're going to wait and we're going to touch on that later because Spencer was an absolute saint to that woman. But it's impossible for me to ignore the kindness that Spencer showed Ashley. I'll preface this by saying that Ashley was a damaged teenager. The people around her failed her. Her dad neglected her for most of her life because he was a rock star. Then he died, revealing that he had a secret sister that she had to split her inheritance with. That was a whole thing. And she didn't have her mother to rely on because her mother didn't like her. I don't think her mother even loved her, or at least that's the vibe that I had gotten from the show. Ashley also had a miscarriage. It was Aiden's baby. She had a miscarriage as a teenager. So the girl, she feared abandonment and she feared love, even though deep down she really wanted love. She craved it. And I'm telling you all this about Ashley not as an excuse as to why she treated Spencer as the way she did, but just so you can have an idea of where her mindset is. Because girlie was going through it. Now, mind you, that's not an excuse. Because Ashley had Spencer on a roller coaster, up and down and around and round. Hear me out. Ashley gave Spencer so many mixed signals. Ashley pushed Spencer away when Ashley's dad died. Ashley avoided commitment like the plague when it came to Spencer. And that led to a weird ass triangle thing with the girls and Aiden. It was a lot. And I could choose so many moments from their relationship timeline to show you how Spencer stayed kind to Ashley. But I think I'm just going to focus on one. And I think I want to focus on Ashley and Spencer and their dynamic after the death of Spencer's brother Clay. I told you earlier, it's going to be spoilers, and that was a big one. While the girls' connection had good moments, there was a lot of hurt and betrayal between them. And I don't think there was no more hurt or betrayal than that time after Clay's death. Now I'm going to set the scene for you guys. Clay was killed at prom by a drive-by shooting. It was a very traumatic death. Literal seconds before Clay was shot, Spencer was begging Ashley to choose romantically between her and Aiden. Messy. So the grounds were already laid for the hurt between the girls. Spencer and the Carlin family, they end up losing Clay. And then Ashley disappears for 3 months. She's in England or Europe somewhere. And during that time, she didn't call Spencer. I don't think once. I think she didn't call her till she got back to the States. But she spoke to Aiden that entire 3 months she was gone. And side note, Aiden got shot in Aiden almost died in that situation too. So she had a right to check up on him, but call your girlfriend, The girls, they get back to school, and then Ashley tries to smooth things over, and that's where this scene ends for this. Look, losing a sibling is an unimaginable pain, especially in Spencer's case, because Clay was one of the only people in her life at that time to truly accept her and her sexuality. The natural response for most people after your significant other ghosted you for 3 months, after the most traumatic damn moment in your life, it would probably be to lash out at them, to be furious, or to be eaten up by grief, or something that I would probably do. I would probably isolate. But Spencer, she wasn't like this. In the middle of her own deep sorrow, she found a way to be kind to Ashley and eventually forgive Ashley. Admittedly, this didn't happen immediately for Spencer. Those first few days back in school after that 3-month break, Ashley tries to pull all the stops out for Spencer. She admits that she loves Spencer, and she tries to confirm her commitment to Spencer. And what Spencer does, she lets Ashley down gently. And she lets Ashley down because Spencer understands ultimately what Ashley is trying to do. She was trying to apologize. And for someone who had to apologize a lot in this series, Ashley was horrible at it. She was really bad at it. Spencer, she decides to respond to Ashley's declaration of love by giving Ashley the benefit of the doubt, even in that moment when Ash did not deserve it. And also, Spencer understood that grief manifests itself in different ways. Earlier in the show, Ashley's dad dies and she didn't handle it well, so that could have played with how she responded to Spencer and Spencer's brother's death. So like I said, you know, grief, everyone handles grief differently. So she didn't necessarily charge Ashley's disappearance to her heart, but more so to her mind. What ends up happening with the girls, Spencer does end their relationship, but she doesn't shut Ashley all the way out. They still talk and occasionally ran the same friend group. And look, all that to say is Spencer's kindness towards Ashley, it wasn't about being perfect or being a doormat for Ashley. To me, Spencer's kindness was a testament to how much unconditional love she had for Ashley. Spencer was able to put herself first, but she could see the good in Ashley, and she knew the love she had with Ashley and that Ashley had for her, even after Ash had made a terrible mistake in leaving Spencer in that moment. Like I said, she just chose kindness. Like, it's ingrained in the girl. And there are some people out there that think that type of kindness is weakness. Spencer literally disproves that. She is a poster child for displaying how compassion can be a force for connection, and on an even deeper level, a force for healing. And truthfully, like, I'm not on Spencer's level of kind-heartedness. I'm not. Life has forced me to have a different personality, a different way of handling things. But if I could, I would definitely strive to be like Spencer. Like I said earlier in the episode, I really want her traits to rub off on me. The level of empathy that she has is admirable, and I truly think it's something that all of us could stand to emulate. We've chatted about Spencer's openness and her willingness to accept change. We've also talked about how she has more kindness in her bones than Mother Teresa and the Pope combined for all these people in her life. And in both of those instances, Spencer displayed admirable qualities. We'll give her that. But I think her most underrated and understated quality, and the quality that even allows her to be open or kind, is the ability for her to prioritize herself, especially when it came down to her mom. I want to get into that dynamic and their relationship after Spencer came out in just a second, because I really want to emphasize to you guys how meaningful it was to see Spencer choose herself all the time. It was really a sight for teenage Double to see, for adult me to see, and I think for you all to see. I think it really is something that everyone needs to view. Because Spencer had a level of, we're going to use autonomy in this. That's the word we're going to use. She had a level of autonomy that I had never seen before from a teenage girl. Like, her integrity, her refusal to compromise when it came to matters of her heart or when it came to those that she loved, the independence she was able to carve out. Look, maybe I'm not explaining it the best, but Spencer was an example of how you can be 100% down for others while being 10,000% down for yourself. I carry that mindset with me daily, and I give Spencer Carlin, I give that character credit for that. I do. But yeah, going back to Spencer and her mom. Look, at the base of it, Spencer's mom, Paula, the lady was homophobic to begin with. She was homophobic from the get-go. She judged Spencer's initial friendship with Ashley under the guise that she was worried about Spencer's future or her being influenced by bad girl Ashley. Once the girls got together, she would interfere with their relationship, again under the guise of love or knowing what was best for Spencer or something she came up with. She would make a reason up. Paula would show physical responses negative, like rolled eyes or a tight face or a smirk or resting bitch face. Whenever the girls showed any type of intimacy or any type of connection. Look, I know parent-kid relationships are complex, and even more so for mother-daughter relationships. It's a lot. I'm a daughter to a mother, and it's complex. I know it. But I don't think that parents realize the depth that their actions can go and affect their kids. I don't think they understand how deeply it can affect their kids. Like with Spencer, she didn't even get the chance to come out with words because her mom literally walked in on her and Ashley having an intimate moment. And instead of having a conversation or, just being calm in the moment, Paula then takes half-naked Ashley, throws her out of her home, looks her daughter Spencer in the face, and tells her that she's disgusting. Ridiculous. And that scene, y'all, was really hard to watch. It was hard to watch as a kid. It was even more so tougher to watch as an adult. I found myself curling into myself because the amount of hatred that I felt radiating through that screen by the mom, it was out of control. So kudos to the actresses. I felt the moment. I felt it. I felt like I was there. I felt the intensity. But yeah, like after all of that, getting caught, and coupled with the fact that Spencer's mom hired a dang conversion therapist, yikes. The result ends up being that Ashley rescues Spencer and the girls run away. Now, I'm not condoning running away or anything like that, but I feel that moment is a good example of Spencer flexing her autonomy towards her mom. And Spencer has a moment during that scene where she tells Ashley that they can't be on the run forever. But she says that, and what I take from it is she's really saying that I need space. I need to get away from this negativity, and I'm choosing to be with the person who I love the most and who understands me the most in this moment. And it's not my mom and it's not my family. It's Ashley. That whole thing is momentous to me because while such a drastic measure was taken with them running away, it really was a defining moment for Spencer. Like I said earlier, she was close with her mom before moving to LA. It showed me and it showed the viewers that she can put her mom and at another level, her family's wishes and demands to the side. And there have been instances where Spencer had tried to stand her ground against her mother before, but I think this was really the first time that she drew a line right down the middle with her mom. She really gave her an ultimatum or a boundary. It was a case of kind of like, you're either going to love me or you're going to lose me. And Spencer, she showed her mom the lengths that she would go to in order to live in her happiness. And I'm not mad at it. Spencer, she showed her mom that she was able to make decisions about her own life. And Spencer decided during that whole thing that she wasn't going to sacrifice who she was for anyone, blood or not. Again, I ain't mad at it. sister, she flexed her autonomy. All of that was very pivotal to young me and still important to adult me. Because let's really think about it. Let's really think about it. Let's think about how much courage Spencer would have had to have during that time in her life. Just sit in that. Your mom tells you you're disgusting. She throws your lover out. Your brother, one of your brother is saying hurtful homophobic shit to you. You're getting hurtful homophobic things spit to you at school. There's no safe space. So she was really going through, she was going through some things at that moment. It took courage to stay strong after getting caught in that vulnerable moment. It took courage to sit there and face that pure vitriol spitted by her mother. The courage to sit through a conversion therapy session. That is insane. The courage to run away when, even though she knew it wasn't going to last forever, just the courage to run away from home. And the courage to never compromise on her happiness, the self-worth. Look, I know I'm not saying complete sentences and it may not be making sense to you guys, but I am in awe of this character. I truly am. And I hope that you can hear it in my voice, the passion that I have for her. Because Spencer taught me that it's okay to choose myself whenever, in any case, and not to worry about people's opinions or biases. Look, I like to look for lessons or messages in life, and Spencer truly taught me a powerful lesson here, and that's to advocate for yourself. That's to choose yourself. Now, what does my like and awe of this character of Spencer Carlin mean in terms of me? That's why we're here today. And I'm sure you guys have already formed your own opinions based on what you heard today. And I encourage that. That's the point of this. Clock me, please. But what does it say about me? I'm a Black woman. This is a white character. Yeah, I'm a lesbian. Spencer's a lesbian. But she's feminine. I'm masculine presenting. There's a privilege and a family dynamic that Spencer has that I never had and probably won't have. So in theory, I probably shouldn't resonate with her as deeply as I do. I connected with Spencer Carlin when I was a teenager. And then almost 20 years later as an adult, I'm still connected to her. And when it comes down to it, the reason why I am connected to her is I view Spencer as an example of fearlessness. I do. Teenage Double would tell you all that Spencer's impact on her life would probably be because she came out and she lived as a lesbian fully. And while that's still true for me today, the impact is so much more than that. It really is. Now I would tell you that it's all of those things and more. I will. And look, guys, I've been averse to change in my life. I hate it. I'm a neurodivergent person. Change fucks with me. It does. There are times I can fear the unknown. I fear that changes that will happen, they'll be negative. I can think of all the bad things. Spencer was one of the few characters in that time of my life that was able to tell me that change is okay, that change is needed for growth. And not all change is bad change or change that needs to be feared. It can be difficult, but you have to go through it to get through it. And you have to have courage while change is occurring, while change is happening. You have to. I don't have a nice sentence or a nice bow to wrap up what this character says about me. I don't. I feel deeply intertwined with this character. But I do want to say that Spencer's bravery, her authenticity, and all those admirable traits, again, I want them to rub off on me. I feel that some of them have rubbed off on me. And I want to make Spencer Carlin proud. I just want to be half as badass as she was. Today's episode was fun. It was fun. It was shorter than I anticipated, but fun. Definitely necessary. I think it was something that I had to talk about today. Courage and bravery and fearlessness is something that I'm having to navigate in my life, and I'm glad I talked about it today. I don't anticipate on doing this style of episode extremely often. There are only a couple of characters that are really in that upper echelon of impact for me. So I really plan on injecting these episodes whenever I see fit. So yeah, don't worry about changes like that. You know, we'll still have the previous format of episodes, this type of episode, and I do have some new styles that I can't wait to present to you guys. Like I said in the previous episode, you know, good change only for Watch This Dubble. And that's where it Spencer Carlin. But yeah, y'all. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I enjoyed today's episode. It was fun. Spencer is a character that is really and truly near and dear to my heart. I love her. And I would encourage you all to watch South of Nowhere if you can. At the moment, it's not streaming anywhere on the major streaming sites, but the Watch This Dubble fam, y'all are smart. Y'all are smart cookies. A resourceful bunch. I feel like y'all will be able to figure out how to watch it. If you haven't already, please go follow me on X or its birth name Twitter at Watch This Dubble. Double is spelled D-U-B-B-L-E. Come by and chat. Let's chop it up, you know. As always, episodes are available on Spotify and YouTube. Again, man, thank you guys for taking time out of your day to listen to me chat. Thank you for taking time out to listen to your hyperfixation homie, your omnipresent narrator. I can't wait to chat with you guys again. I can't wait for you guys to hear this next episode. I'm really cooking something up. As always, I appreciate you. Can't wait to chat again. Peace out.